In this video, we're going to take a look at accessing an assignment from Blackboard, getting an app from the Chrome Web Store that will allow us to do annotations on the screen, downloading that completed assignment to our devices, and then they'll be ready to submit to Blackboard. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is share my screen. This notice that popped up, I'm just going to put my finger on top of it and push it over to the right. So anytime you get a notice like that on your screen, you can always just slide it away. The first thing I'll do is go out to Blackboard and get the assignment. This is a lab that's been uploaded to the course as a Word doc. It's over here in Assignments and Lab Activities. We'll tap the name of the assignment. It's a link to the doc. And it's opening in Google Docs. Even though it opened in Google Docs, it's still considered a Word doc. If you look over here in the upper left-hand corner, you see a W in a blue square next to the name of the assignment. That's our clue that we're still working with a Word doc and not a Google Doc. Word docs won't save automatically. So we're going to go ahead and convert this to a Google Doc by tapping File, Save as Google Docs. We see the message on the screen. It's going to take it just a minute. This is a lengthy document with some graphics that have to be converted. Didn't take too long. There we go. Okay. It's hard to see, probably just the sharing setting is covering up that tab, but now I have a tab with this Google Doc. The icon is changed to the Google Doc icon, and I still have the Word doc in case I need it for any reason. I'm going to take this doc and put my last name in front of the name just to help avoid any confusion for the professor that's grading it. And now this, as you notice, the last edit was made seconds ago, and this is being saved automatically. So my file history is active now. If I make any kind of mistake and I want to revert back to an earlier time point of this document, I can go to File, See Version History, and then come down here to See Version History, and that will give me timestamps along the right-hand side. I can click the three dots. I can name this version. If there's multiple edits within this timestamp, I'll be able to access those, and I can revert back to any point in time of this document that I like. So nothing's ever permanent. You can always change back to the way the document was a few steps ago. It's sort of like a time machine. Okay, so I'm going to use a combination of keyboard and drawing tools for this assignment. Most of these questions can be completed using the keyboard to type. I can just type in the blank space provided. If I don't feel like there's enough space, I just add more. So now I'm actually editing this document myself. Be careful not to change the questions. And you can do things like highlight the blank lines. You could take your answers, change the color. Excuse me. You can change the color. You can put them in bold. You can do different things to help your answers pop for the grader of the assignment. Okay, so make sure you put your name on it. Even though your name is up in the file name, it's a good idea to get this in here too. Oops. Okay, so you can tap inside the table and type answers in there. Again, if you don't feel like that's enough space for you to write, you can always Just keep writing and your document is going to adjust as you go along. Now, when you get down to the labeling activities, that's when you'll want to use the drawing tools. And that drawing feature that is available on the touchscreen part of your Chromebook. First thing we're going to do is go get an app that will allow us to annotate this document. So first step is to open the document. It's going to pop open in Google Drive for you. Convert it to a Google Doc. We use that conversion because I'm back on the Word doc. Just to remind you, File, Save as Google Docs. Now, after we answer everything that we can answer with the keyboard, we'll save the diagramming for last. So go ahead and skim through the entire assignment. Type all the answers that you can use, complete with the keyboard. There's a lot of stuff to answer here. And then we're going to use an app to complete this. Okay, so over in the lower left-hand corner, there's the launcher. We're going to tap on that. And we're looking for the Chrome Web Store. So you can use the up arrow and look for it on the page of apps, or there we go. Chrome Web Store extension popped up when I used the search. Okay, the app we're looking for is called Kami, and you spell that K-A-M-I. It's not an app per se, it's actually called an extension. Extensions get placed on the browser toolbar. You can also go to the Google Play Store and add Android apps to your device if you like. But don't pay for anything, or if you do pay for something, make sure you can transfer it to your own device after you get done with your Chromebook, because we're going to collect the Chromebook and power wash it and completely delete all the data that's on there, including anything you've paid for to download. So just be aware of that. Okay, the extension is Kami. I've got that. I'm going to press enter. It's the first one that came up. It's a PDF and document annotation. I'm going to click the button to add it to Chrome, give permission to add the extension, and now we see the white K in the blue circle in the upper right-hand corner. I've got a little pop-up that says Kami has been enabled, so I'm just going to get rid of that. Now, I'm going to come back to the tab with the assignment and tap the Kami extension. What's going to happen is the document is going to actually open in Kami. So I'm going to tell Kami to look for the document from Google Drive. And here's the assignment. So I tap it. I could tap it twice or tap it once and then click select. And we'll give it a second. Here we go. Okay, Kami does have text tools, but they're kind of clunky. It's going to add as a text box. And for me, that's a little bit more challenging to work with. You may like working that way. Definitely try it and see. You could do the whole assignment in Kami if you like. For me, it was easier to do the written portion with using my keyboard to type and then convert it for the drawings. So here's that text tool. We're going to go down 2 more tools to the drawing tool. You can change the thickness of your line. And you can also change the color. I'm going to change it to this nice bright blue, and that'll make my annotations pop. Okay, the eraser is down here. Have to be careful, because if you use that eraser, it's going to erase everything. So what I do instead, oops, let me let go of the eraser tool. What I do instead is after I type or draw something, I'll just draw a mark here. Oops, and that's in green. I don't want green, I want blue, and I don't want it there. So I'm going to Control Z, and that's my undo button. So that just Control Z is the command to undo your last action. So that's how you can get rid of that stray mark. Okay, so I'm going to go back pick my blue again, tap save. Oh, I don't know why it's not holding. For some reason, I may just be writing in green today. There we go. We'll see. Okay, I just folded my screen open. So now I've got my screen completely folded over. You can also tilt it to make it a little bit easier to draw upon, whatever's easier for you. Okay. Really want to know. There we go. Now my drawing color has changed. Okay. So what I was doing before was adding that color to the toolbar. So when I picked a new color, it adds it, and then I have to actually tap to select the color that I've added over there in my little shortcuts. Good to know. Okay, and you can close that tray down there next to the palette icon under the circles of the color. You can tap those little arrows and that toggles your descriptions back and forth. Alrighty. So I'm just using my finger to push the document up to the area where I'll be making the drawings. Okay, here I need to label an A, B, C. So I'm not an anatomy student, and I'm just going to do some labeling as examples. And there we go. If I don't like the way I drew that last letter, I don't want to use the erase annotations because I want to keep annotation A, but I don't like B and C. I can Command Z when my keyboard's open, but now that my keyboard's shut, I'm going to go up to the top. If you look at the top of the screen, right underneath the sharing toolbar where it says stop share, well, there we go. My undo is appears. So I'm just tapping undo, and that backsteps one step at a time. So then I can relabel abdominal. I'm going to say that's over here. Okay. I'm going to scroll on up. Now here's a word. Oops, didn't want to do that. I'm pressing outside the document in that gray space to the right to scroll up so that I don't make any stray marks. Okay. My labels are up here. So I'll just go one by one. So I can say, okay, I'm going to label abdominal. I can cross that off to keep track of what I'm labeling. And then come on down and just start my annotations. And notice I ran off the page. So I'm going to come back, undo, 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 undo. So maybe I'll put an abbreviation there. Now, once you get into these tight spaces, you could extend the line out to take your annotations out to where you have a little bit more room to write. However, that's going to be easiest for you. You might have to play with this a little bit, play with the pen sizes. I'm using a stylus that has the squishy tip and it's pretty fat. I'm going to try writing with my finger. I'm just going to. So I just wrote chest with my finger. Not perfectly beautiful, but not too bad. I'm just going to tap undo a few times. Just to show you how the text tool works, I'm going to type text. Text is going to be in purple. That's fine. Once I tap, a text box appears and my keyboard shows up. If I don't like my keyboard covering up that much of the page, I can shrink it down. I'm using keyboard input, but I can change that to drawing input. So now I can write the word inside here. So I'm just writing this with my finger. Notice that the QWERTY keyboard looks to add that word. So yes, it is neck, and there it is. I can also just hit enter. Oops, that's going to throw a space. Hit backspace, tap away. There's that word. You can drag this box around a little bit. Oops, I just deleted it. I'm going to hit undo, bring it back. This is a little bit trickier for me to work with. I have, there we go. Let's space out the box, move it a little bit. Text boxes are definitely a little bit harder for me in here. So I prefer to do all the typed text-based work that I can on the document and then come out and do the labeling here. Okay, so now we've got our diagram labeled, our assignment's complete and ready to turn in. There's a download button. Let's see, let's save it first so we can see all changes are saved. Last save was a few seconds ago. I could make my own copy in Google Drive. I could go ahead and download it. I'm going to go ahead and download it. There's also a download button just to the right of the save button. It's a down arrow on a bar, and that will download it to your device as well. Okay, I don't need to download it again, so I'm going to close that window out. If I don't want to turn this in immediately, I can just leave it in my files, but I'm going to go ahead and look for this in my files. So the way to get back to your app page or so that you can get to your Google web browser and get back to Blackboard, you can tap that launcher button, the circle in the lower right hand corner, or you can pull the tray up from the bottom if you have certain apps saved in that tray. I have my Google Drive saved there, or my Google Chrome window here with Blackboard open already. And then once the link to submit the assignment is posted, I can just go ahead and upload the assignment. The assignment is in my files. The file icon is here on this top row, fourth one over. I can also look for files. I'm still using the written input, and it worked. If you want to change those inputs, you just tap that arrow. I want to go back to the keyboard. I could search files. Whoops, I totally mistyped it and it found it for me anyway. That's cool. And look at my downloads. And there's my Kami export that I did today at 1:01 p.m. So I could go ahead and grab that to upload to Blackboard if I like. And that's a quick run through of pulling down the document from Blackboard, typing your answers in a Google document, saving it as a Google Doc, and then typing your answers in, opening Kami, annotating with Kami, and then how to find the file afterwards.